Hello and welcome to NJBIZ Conversations. I'm your host, Jeff Kanige. My guest today is Jeff Weinstein. He is the co-founder and CEO of TranscendAP. It's a Hamilton-based provider of accounts payable information software. Jeff, welcome.
Thanks for having me today, Jeff.
Thanks for joining me. I misspoke a minute ago. Accounts payable automation software was what I really meant to say. So I've got that now. And that's where I want to start, just to hear a little bit about the company. My understanding is it was spun out of Optimal Global Solutions, a company you also co-founded back in January, if I remember correctly. So can you tell us a little bit about A, what the rationale for that split was, and B, how being a separate company has changed the business?
Sure. Optimal Global Solutions, which I really wasn't part of at all, was is really more of a consulting company and staff augmentation. And during I guess through around 2016, 2017, one of its clients had the idea of developing an accounts payable automation platform for them. And so what happened from 2016, 17 to 2022 or so, 23, is that product got built out and was being sold to a number of clients.
Okay.
And where I came in was, I've known Mahesh, the founder of the company, for a while, and the product actually had some good bones to it, and but it was really run more like a consulting product than it was an application. And so so after spending maybe 6, 8 months with them as an interim CEO, we said, you know what, this product has some real good aspects to it. We could really make this into a real platform. And it was performing as a platform, but probably not performing as a platform that could scale at the level we wanted it to.
Okay.
And so most of the company of Optimal Global were really not software people from software backgrounds, but more consulting backgrounds. So, I said, I think we could take this. I think we could take this application, make it into a platform, and make it into something that's really scalable from companies of 50 million in size to 10 billion in size, and figure out how to make that work. So, after about 6, 7 months of working with the team, decided that we were going to take the company, spin it off into its own company, TranscendAP, and be totally focused on it being a software application platform to do accounts payable automation.
Yep.
And so that gave us the ability to focus, make sure that we were thinking about both short and long-term investments, how to hire the staff and bring on a team and expand the team that was more focused on software as a platform than anything else, and also how to take the existing team and move them more into thinking about us as more of a software platform company than as a consulting company. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So then tell us a little bit about the platform then. What should viewers know about that, especially those who may be looking for help with accounts payable, which I imagine
Yeah,
is
sure.
a
Yeah.
fair number of people.
Well,
What differentiates it from others?
yeah, an interesting aspect is only about 9% of the market is actually accounts payable automated. So there's about 91% that's not. Most
Wow. Okay.
organizations have dabbled with things like reading invoices through OCR and those kind of things, right? Which is what we don't really consider it to be automation. We consider it to be automation, which is from the time you're able to read an invoice electronically to how it actually gets through a workflow approval process, how it integrates into an ERP system, and then how it gets set up for payment, whether it's through having purchase orders or non-purchase orders. So I think a couple of things that we do incredibly well. One is at the time of receiving the invoice, we have an incredibly high confidence level, almost 95% from the day one, that we're able to read that invoice and effectively parse it and put it into our system. So incredibly high in that.
Okay.
The other is we instantaneously match those purchase orders to ERP systems and existing purchase orders to validate if they're legit. So we're doing a lot of things around fraud detection, around those kind of things,
Okay.
right? And making sure that's easy. The other thing that we're doing is when it goes through an approval process, we have a very flexible configuration workflow. So it can go to multiple different people based on dollar amounts of approval and all those kind of things, right? So we're able to really filter it through the organization very easily, integrate it to their email and to their mobile devices so that they can do approvals kind of on the fly and actually never bog down the system. And probably the thing that's really catching on a lot for us is this idea of we do a straight through touchless processing. So from the time we read the invoice, if it is a high level of confidence that we know what this invoice is, and the right approval processes are already kind of known, we can actually filter it through the system without it ever being touched by anybody and set up for to be paid.
Okay.
So Jeff, one of the things that happened during the COVID period is accounts payable automation became pretty profound as pretty important because suppliers wanted to be paid, and the whole supply chain was being challenged.
Yes.
And so it was important for suppliers to not have to wait so long to be paid. Vendors themselves, companies themselves did not want to wait too long to pay suppliers because they wanted to make sure their goods were being, completed, and they wanted to make sure that their suppliers were healthy and felt like they were in business. So there
Hmm.
was a whole dynamic there of making sure that this process got very automated and was got a lot of attention. So we're
Okay.
really so we're really kind of bringing all that stuff to the forefront.
All right. But even after that, I think whatever the figure you gave me of 91% not automated, even after
Oh
the
yeah,
COVID,
right. Yeah.
really
As a
interesting.
matter of fact, 84% of all accounts payable organizations spend about 90% of their time on the keyboard entering invoices.
Wow.
The other,
Okay.
and the other 10% might be answering questions from suppliers that are looking when are they going to get paid. So
All right.
there is a big challenge. It comes back to the fact that the accounts payable teams are usually viewed as expenses. They're not making money for the company necessarily, right?
Okay.
So most organizations have invested in CRM solutions and call centers and
Okay. Yeah.
ERP systems, and so they played a little bit of a backseat. But I think that's all kind of catching up
Right. Okay. Well,
to the market.
that's what I sort of was trying to sort through there was because obviously automation is a large part of any business, but this particular piece is not. So what I hear you saying is that for that mass group of people who are not those companies that are not using this, you're easier, you're safer because you'd have the fraud protection, and it's just generally a more streamlined and quicker way of doing this. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Also, I think what also makes us I like to attach ourselves to what's going on with the customer.
Hmm.
So what I mean by that is every customer is at a different level of where they feel their progression is. So some might feel they have an accounts payable team that's ready to rock and roll and put this in, and therefore, we can go to something like straight through processing right away, right? Some feel like that they just have to really start getting off the manual processes, and we go through more of a process of saying, okay, let's take this step by step and let's get you on a journey so that you can go through more straight through processing. Some of our customers are if a typical customer for us might have 100,000 invoices that they process in a year, and we have customers who are doing roughly 40% of those are being touchless when no one touches them.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, so we're focused on a lot of different things and really thinking about the customer and where they are in their maturity as an AP organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what you're describing now is this is the latest iteration of of this platform. Am I right
Yeah.
about that?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yeah.
And my
Right.
understanding is that there is an artificial intelligence component. So I'm curious, and I'm sure everybody else is. What are you using AI for in this?
Yeah, well, the AI and machine learning that components that we have to the art solution are in a couple of areas. One area is under the idea of just how we read invoices and how we have the intelligence to read invoices and the intelligence and how that grows. So when we're able to read these invoices, the intelligence behind that is really an AI machine learning intelligence, which makes it incredibly more efficient and learns even quicker. So we get from 95% to 99% very quickly. The other part is things like fraud detection is
Hmm.
an important part to that. How are we going to look at different aspects of when invoices come in, how they're related to different dollar amounts and different products, and how we kind of look at those things to generate proactive fraud detection and being on the lookout for that. So right now,
Yeah.
those are the two areas that we're really focused on around AI and machine
Okay.
learning. Yeah.
All right. And one thing I understand, one area that you've either gotten into or expanding is your relationship with colleges and universities. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, first of all, for my whole career, I've always done a lot with universities and colleges, and so I enjoy that whole environment. And in my research, when we were thinking about spinning this off originally, was thinking about where we could play in certain verticals, and we're very strong in manufacturing and very strong in hospitality and a lot of other markets. But looking at universities seemed to be a really great place for us. So we went down the path of looking at integrating with an ERP system called Ellucine, which is one of the leading
Right.
ERP systems
Mhm.
in colleges and universities. We started developing a relationship with them. We brought on a couple of universities, St. Louis Community College and George Mason University, having now a formal relationship with Ellucine. And so now we're kind of off to the races and have a lot of good prospects and those kind of things. And one of the things I'm executive in residence at Monmouth University, so I do spend a lot of time at the university level. And so we plan on focusing a lot of our attention on working with universities inside the state. So I'm very excited by that. I think it's going
Okay.
to be great.
Well, that's interesting because I was going to ask you about where you see growth coming from over the next couple of years. It sounds like A, there's there's a lot of opportunity for you if automation really isn't as widespread as I think I thought I did, and B, this whole interest in colleges and universities. Where else? I mean, is that it? I mean, is that what we're talking about, or what are you
Well,
looking at?
well, first of all, I think it's a wide open market. So the one thing I want to be careful of is not trying to boil the ocean, right? We don't want to be all things to all people.
Right.
So I think for us, where I suspect that, 60% of the business that we do is going to be with organizations that are roughly between 100 million and a billion in size. I think we're going to find ourselves, 20% are going to be over a billion and 20% are going to be under 100 million. I think on the verticals, I think we're going to find ourselves doing a lot in universities,
Okay.
healthcare, and manufacturing. And right now, I think that that's probably a lot over the next 3 years that we can focus on. So
Okay.
I'm really,
Obviously,
I'm really looking at the next 3-year journey.
right. Obviously, healthcare an important part of the component of the state, the New Jersey economy. So there's
Yes, yes, very much so. Yes.
okay.
Yep.
And so when you look at what the broader economy is going to look like, how the business cycle, you just mentioned the COVID pandemic and how difficult. I mean, everyone remembers what the economy was like then. Even in bad times, companies need to be paid. In fact, it's more important than ever for them to be paid. So what are you looking for over the next year or two? I mean, how do you view the economy and how it would the broader economy and how it would affect your business?
Well, on the broader economy, I mean, I think all indications are the economy is chugging along at a good
Yeah.
pace, right?
Right.
And I think that the one thing that we think is a big asset to us is that since AI has now become has started to become, I don't want to say mainstream, but people are much more aware that they
Oh
want
yeah.
to go
Mhm.
through they want to go through more digital transformation with
Yes.
AI solutions. So we're actually trying to coin some of the phrase of purpose-built AI. So purpose-built AI is how is AI built into applications, and not just generative AI or things around chatbots and things like that, but how does it really drive software applications to be much more intuitive, much more effective? So we see a lot of good opportunity for ourselves. I also think that there is you know, um, a little bit of more of an awakening about how accounts payable teams, need to have investments. When everybody else gets investments in their organization to transform them, the AP team is really the one who's really dispensing all the expenses, right? And so
Right.
they have to be more efficient. And I would also say that, look, cybersecurity is a challenge, right?
Sure.
So fraud is not going down,
Hmm.
right? Phishing attacks is not going down, right? So to have more systems that can protect against that is going to be very valuable. And I think AP teams, one with AI being much more prevalent, the other with the challenge of organizations around fraud detection is important. And then lastly, the other part around the automation side is that COVID kind of enabled or accelerated a lot of the virtual office space. Well, with the virtual office space comes the need for more automation. And so you have AP teams that are now more dispersed and in different places. And so this actually becomes something that helps bind teams together and improve their effectiveness overall. So I think
Okay.
there's a
Well,
lot of good opportunity for us
yeah,
because
that's certainly, and I mean, especially since the COVID pandemic, the adoption and technology has sped up immensely. So I'm guessing that
yes,
you're going to fit into well with that trend.
yes, absolutely. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I need to ask you a little bit about what it's like doing business in New Jersey. Before we turn the camera on, you were telling me about some of your ties to New Jersey. You mentioned your relationship with Monmouth University. You're involved with the EDA and the Tech Council. Anything, first of all, what can you tell us about that work and what you're doing there?
Well, first off, when just taking the so just taking the NJEDA spot for a second.
Hmm.
Well, there's so many programs and so many and so much leadership is motivated to attract and grow organizations in New Jersey. It's really a great thing to see. I mean, I think there's a lot of programs in place that I don't think people are really aware of. The innovation committee that I'm part of actually is one to be ambassadors for what's available through the NJEDA. But also it's to help kind of tune these programs to help attract more startups, find more opportunities to invest in growth companies, attract biotech and high tech into the state. So I think there's a lot of good things being done at the leadership
Okay.
side. Um,
Okay.
I mean, there's selling your net operating losses, there's programs for investment, there's a lot of startup programs, great mentoring opportunities. There's just a lot of things, a lot of good things that are available. When I look at the university side, I see a lot of the universities really at Monmouth University. One thing that's being done at a very significant level is through the Business Council and the Entrepreneur in Residence Executive Residence Program. Is that we're trying to really bring a lot of the business world aspect into the classroom and really tuning the kids up and and removing the blind spots that they have about business and what business is all about. And so
Okay.
there's a lot of effort in trying to take the public sector, the private sector, and infiltrate it into the public sector. So I think Monmouth, that my only experience is really with the Monmouth side is doing
Right.
that really, really well. So that's
Okay.
exciting stuff.
Okay. Well, I was going to end by asking you about the focus that the state has put on tech companies and really nurturing a tech economic sort of environment here. You're actually part of that, a part of doing that. But has your company actually benefited from that? And do you get a sense for what other companies can do with it?
Yeah, my company hasn't benefited yet from any of the from the my prior companies have benefited
Okay.
from the NJED programs. We sold our net operating losses, which was a great source of funding for us when I was the CEO of Right Answers. So that was a great experience. We are looking into programs that NJED has right now. So that's great. One thing
Okay.
they are doing is we are doing a fair amount of networking with other business leaders. Um, there's a big community of ambassadors that are actually trying to help companies like ours grow. So I think there is a lot of opportunity. I would suspect in the next 6 months we're going to be tapping into some of those NJEDA programs as we go forward.
Okay. Well, you sound positive about this, and you sound optimistic
Oh
about
my God, I'm
the
very excited. Sure. I mean, first of all, when if you're not starting your day enthusiastic about what you're doing, you got to take a time out. I want to say that I'm incredibly enthusiastic about what we're doing. I'm incredibly enthusiastic about what we're doing here in the state of New Jersey. I think there's a lot of great opportunities and the college system and the healthcare system are things I'm really looking forward to working with more closely here.
Okay. Well, that's a good place to leave it. Jeff Weinstein, co-founder and CEO of TranscendAP. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Jeff. Great to be here.
Thanks again. Thank
Okay.
you all for watching. Until next
Okay.
time, stay safe, everyone.